Oh, I want to be clear here because I know some people are going to be like, well, see, you're no different. I mean, what you're accusing Nora of. Well, we'll get to it, but no, we're laying out a logical conceptual dilemma, which I'll, let's be honest, Nora's not capable of looking at it that way. But anyway, so Nora has finally broken her silence. After her small vacation doing her protest at the Baby Blue, or whatever they call that thing, yes, she's finally ready to give an official position on the streets of DOA Aaron trilemma. So let me map it out for people who are just coming in and perhaps a little confused. So Nora was friends with Aaron. This is just months ago. It's very recent. And back then, she was condemning DOA as very problematic, as very toxic. Now she's reversed. Aaron is very toxic, but DOA is a lesser evil, I guess. He's learning, and she will give grace. How will she give grace? She's guilty. Yeah, don't even ask. Like, yeah, why are you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. She likes to dispense grace, though. And some people believe her new act. Some people do not. I don't believe her. She's just, leopard doesn't change really who they are. They're just changing the target. But whatever, fine, whatever. She's grifting. But now Streets comes in, and to be fair to him, he was pretending to be neutral. We knew he wasn't neutral. So now he is fully against DOA and supporting Aaron. Now he doesn't say it that way, but that's what he's doing. Now, from one angle, all these people are guilty. They're all guilty, right? So Nora's trying to have the high ground that she doesn't think it's a good idea, especially with women in Scientology, to mock or go after them or stalk them or da 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 da. Even though she was doing that kind of behavior not too long ago, and literally, and she magically forgets this, but I have not forgotten, she mocked a very young girl who was a Scientologist and in college. Why? She was singing and she was in Scientology, and Nora was making fun of her. But that's okay, because, Nora's Nora. She's a woman and lesbian, and she's white, too, so she gets to do those things. Anyway, now she's pretending that's not a good approach, guys. I would never do that. I never did. Yes, you did do it, so stop lying. But anyway, so now she's like, we need to, handle this more delicately, especially with women's. And that is the basis for her finally deciding Streets is also a bad guy. Maybe not Aaron bad, but he's a bad guy. Why? Well, he put out a video, which he did, and I saw the whole thing. This is a small part of the beginning, and it's not great. I'm not defending what Streets did. However, Nora, as usual, is misrepresenting and lying completely what he did. So basically, what happened was Streets was taking a walk. He does these videos like this. He walks and talks to his audience. But he got lucky or unlucky. He spotted a few female Scientologists. Now, he says he saw one of them earlier. He recognized her, but didn't really care. He didn't think, all right, whatever, I saw you before. But then he noticed, like, oh, you're going someplace. So he decided, oh, okay, I'm going to follow these two people. And he did the usual yell and scream and mock them and talk about Xenu and say, ah, ah, the usual Streets thing. So Nora is trying to say, well, there you go. Streets, I now condemn you by the power of the feminist, lesbian, woke hypocrisies. Well, again, what Streets was doing was not good, but the way she's ginning it up, like she really pumped it up saying, guys, I will make a confession. When I was a small girl in the Sea Org, I was in Hollywood sometimes, late at night, and I was very scared. Well, I know what Nora's trying to do, and listen, people in the comment section have said this, and I do think Nora is a racist. Not like, you know, Austrian painter level racist, but she does put out a lot of racist stereotypes. A lot. And usually she's very sensitive about these things. How dare you, Aaron? That's racisms. So she's saying that her own experience at Hollywood late at night, she was really fearful. For the record, Streets is a really tall black man, technically half black, but anyway, he's a man of color. So he's saying just a man of color walking around in broad daylight near women is frightening. Okay, now, again, listen. Streets is a bully. He has. Now, he's bullied men and women, young and old alike. I do think he has a preference for less tall people. He's usually barking at people a little bit less tall than him. I don't think he's ever faced off a woman as tall as him. Granted, that would be rare. He's never done that. Also, he does like to yell and scream at people who are physically a little less imposing. That said, he has yelled at men. He has, even police officers, to their face, and usually not productively. Like there was one screaming match he got into with Jessica Pomodessa nearby, and it was like they were literally trying to help out, and he kept screaming at them. So yeah, he has not good tendencies. However, I see no evidence he has, like Aaron, which is more blatant. Like he does seem to have no preference for men or women. He just likes to yell and scream at whoever. I mean, again, go back to his origins. He actually went more after men than women. I just don't see any evidence that at the testing center he went after women particularly. I just don't see that, or in that particular case that you brought up. So she's really misrepresenting what Street says. Now, what he does is still bad, but him targeting women, I don't see that specifically. He does do it sometimes with the LaPoo, whatever that entire fiasco. Yes, I mean, again, listen, I don't like this Coster woman at all. I don't, but come on, she is what she is. She's a small old woman, and Streets was just barking like crazy, following her. That is literally what stalking is. She had to have a bodyguard near her with good reason. Like that is a totally different situation where a tall, physically imposing man yells and screams at you, follows you. You've made very clear, stop following me. You have to have a bodyguard near you. Like that's now again, you can still say, well, that's an awful woman. And just for the channel members, I noted a lot of hypocrisy there. So if you want to become a channel member, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I don't like the way Streets operates. So sometimes he does indulge in Aaron-like behavior. He does, but usually he doesn't. Still, that Costers thing was just, I don't know what he's trying to prove. I thought it was really stupid. But now let's get to the main event, which is her attempt to condemn Streets, but maintain a friendship with DOA. Now, it might shock you. I'm going to defend DOA, but it's a pretty small defense because there is pretty alarming video with DOA in, quote, the women's. And quite a few places he is pretty awful. However, you do have to look at the context. I'm not defending it. I'm explaining it, though. And one of the clips is, it's not what it appears to be. So basically, which is on the tape, DOA was cursing out these two old women. However, you got to look at the whole video, and it was a little tricky. And listen, I don't think this was a good approach. But basically, DOA was like, oh, you guys support Danny Masterson? And that, they usually have a script they would use against women at the restaurant, which I thought was stupid. But it was like the usual script saying, oh, you guys support this or that. And of course, these two old women are just trying to presumably just walk by. They're like, what are you talking about? They got really, really annoyed with good reason. And, they escalated it. Now, of course, they were provoked, but they did escalate. So, of course, they answered back with a lot of foul language. DOA was a little shocked. He was like, oh, okay, we're going to go there? Fine. Then he escalated against them. So you got to be careful. Sometimes he does do it without provocation. Sometimes he does it with provocation. So why is Aaron the worst guy and at least Streets and DOA? Well, it's not good, but there's a context. Like Aaron went to a bar voluntarily, started a fight voluntarily, then lied about it. He lied to everyone. He lied to the police. He lied to his audience. He lied to me. He lied to everybody about this incident. He claimed with a straight face, guys, I was running for office and I thought, I need signatures. I need to go to a bar. And then I saw this woman I reckon, oh my God, hey, let me get her signature. And she had a boyfriend, a big boyfriend nearby. And she made very clear, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. And instead of Aaron being like, oh, okay. Nope. He continues to yell and curse at the woman using, yes, the C word repeatedly. He wasn't provoked. He just freely yelled in a loud voice. Now, to be fair, wasn't face to face. He was talking to someone else, apparently. He just kept calling her the C word numerous times. And the boyfriend got tired and said, please stop doing that. Of course, Aaron did what Aaron does, and then a fight ensued. So it is apples and oranges. And to be fair, Streets was not cursing at the women when he was following them. So again, the point here is we're down a really stupid path here. However, it is apples and oranges. I don't see much justification for what Aaron did, but there you go. However, DOA and Streets, they're putting it close to the edge, but that is free speech. It is very close to the edge. Now, I think we should honor free speech, but you want to be sensible about it. Like, you can do it. This is free speech. You can. wear a Nazi uniform, in front of a Jewish temple. I don't think you should do it, even as a joke. I don't think that's a good idea, but you have free speech. You can do it. You should not do it, but you can do it. So free speech does encompass offensive speech. Now, where the line is to be drawn, we're still debating that. We'll probably be debating it forever, as long as we live. So now DOA styles himself as doing offensive free speech activism. I don't think that's what he's doing. He's just being more annoying. However, sometimes he is legitimately doing that. So that's a little bit more tricky. Streets literally confessed, admitted, saying, yeah, I'm here for the money. I'm here for petty reasons. So he is an activist regarding police corruption, which is good. I'll give him that. He's been consistent there. But on Scientology, he literally admitted in that video, yeah, this is just a part-time thing. It's just a leisure thing. It's a hobby that gets me a little bit of money and attention. So you can't really excuse his behavior saying, well, he's just an anti-Scientologist. My God, the crimes of Scientology. He doesn't care. He does not care. It is just people, weirdos in Hollywood that offend him. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to mock these people because they're a cult he doesn't like. But as he noted himself, there's many cults. Why this cult? Oh, it's just going to generate me money and attention. That's not a good reason to engage in that kind of behavior. Like, you're going to stalk these women to mock their, which he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know Scientology. He's just, so we're doing this. And by the way, he's embracing Aaron at the same time. So it's like, well, you can't seriously say, well, Streets is protesting the abuse. He's literally enabling abuse with Aaron. So it's just a complete contradiction and hypocrisy. Good or bad, DOA is denouncing Aaron and what he does. Now, he could be more consistent, but we are stuck that Aaron is play acting at being an activist, and so is Streets. So in terms of a ranking system, you would have to put, it's not good, but first comes Aaron. He's totally toxic. Streets is kind of in the middle. And again, I'd have to say on the facts, DOA is still awful, but he does do some real activism here and there. William is more, if it's completely in his self-interest. Whereas DOA, no, even if it's not in his self-interest, he will do some activist work. Maybe it's not good work, but he will still do it. So there we are. However, that's not what Norah did. She just did the thin slice. Like, I talked to Mr. DOA on the phone. I think he's improving. He did not take my suggestions, but I see the good and the growth in him. He's a Jedi. He's a superhero. He could be redeemed. And Norah, will help his journey of redemption. Okay, that's a fancy way of saying Streets is not your friend. Streets doesn't like you. Streets makes fun of you. Streets mocks you for being stupid and crazy, which is true. But DOA is being nicer to Norah. Because, boy, DOA was cleaning her clock last year. So, yeah, it comes down to, this is my friend. Mr. Streets is no longer my friend. That's not a justification, Norah. But apparently that's her official stance. That, DOA is growing. But Streets has stopped the growing as an activist. Well, I would have to concede, yes, there is a slight difference in activism where DOA is more dedicated, where Streets is, it's more of a game and a gamble for him. It is. He may have a personal investment, but it's the same thing with Aaron. He has a tragedy in his life and a tragic backstory, but it's being mythologized and really misrepresented to make himself money and get attention. And now he's got red-handed because he's helping an abuser, so he's stuck. So it's like, well, if you really did care about these abuses, why are you helping Aaron? Streets has no answer. He never had an answer, so he's deflecting. But so is Norah. And there we are. So we got two deflectors, but you'd have to be honest, again, and that's why I very much emphasize, look up DOS, look up the Dant, look up Riddle. They will tell you, DOA is not the superhero he pretends to be, but he has done some real activism. Whether it's good activism, that we're debating. I don't think it's good enough, but that's my humble opinion.